the highlights, where the truth gets aired out. Stroud with the vision, hitting Nico on the flare out. We talk breakout stars, no gimmicks or filters. Numbers so clean, got the stats looking like scriptures. Pressure like playoffs, but we calm in the huddle. Game talk deep, turn the podcast to a tunnel. From tape to the takes, we don't follow, we lead. And transbaits with the reads, every drop what you need.
Welcome off the highlights. I'm your host, Trance Bates. I just want to ask how everybody doing today. I'm chilling. It was a hot one. It was like 80, 90 some degrees outside. Nice day to be at one of them little beach bars with a little drink, sipping. But today I just wanted to do a live come through with, I know a lot of OTAs, mandatory camps have taken place in the NFL. So I just wanted to run down a few of the hot topics that I came across that I was checking out. Give you the rundown a little bit on certain teams, certain players. There was certain news that broke. Certain players are waiting to be traded. Certain players, opportunities have been taken. And certain rookies, certain other players are really stepping up in camp. And so we're going to cover a few topics, around like 13 topics, from the quarterback situation going on with the Browns, Stroud's injury concerns, down to Aaron Rodgers signing, down to Jalen Ramsey waiting. So before we get into that, I just want to shout out everybody that supported, liking the posts, checking out everything. I started a TikTok. It's OTH with Trance Bates. That's been going up. A lot of videos on there, a lot of shorts on there. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and follow me on X or Twitter. I have it down at the bottom. So if you want to scroll, check it out, check that out. But at first, I just wanted to go down the list with some hot topics. Well, not hot topics, but topics that I think are relevant to the season coming up. And pretty much give my reaction to it. So we have the Aaron Rodgers finally signed with Pittsburgh. I mean, I think that was a foregone conclusion regardless. We seen how they didn't attack the quarterback position really in the draft. They had an opportunity to draft Shador. They had an opportunity to draft a couple other players. They passed on all that. They did get Will Howard out of Ohio State. I guess he has good potential for development, but I'm not necessarily starting. And they had that room with Mason Rudolph, so I think they already had a plan in place for Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is doing his own thing, so he comes in. They traded George Pickens to the Cowboys. They traded for DK Metcalf. They're still waiting on Roman Wilson. They say he's been doing well. I think they still looking for another weapon. They got Caleb Johnson out of Iowa State. Iowa as a running back, because they traded. They didn't re-sign Najee Harris. So I'm gonna be interested to see how the offense operates. And Arthur Smith is the offensive coordinator. And his view on it was just, you got to adapt to the personnel. A lot of coaches say that. Do they actively do that? I'm not sure. But Aaron Rodgers is a strong-minded individual. Arthur Smith runs a certain type of offense. DK is really the only threat. We're going to see how that plays out. We got to see how that plays out. And speaking of quarterbacks, we can go to the next situation which I think is crazy, is the Cleveland Browns quarterback situation. They have a quarterback ticker of how they performing. So you have Flacco, who's been 51% throwing, 2 touchdowns. Pickett has 60% completions with 7 touchdowns. Dylan Gabriel has 58 completion percentage with 8 touchdowns, and Shador has a 77 completion percentage with 9 touchdowns and 1 interception. I don't know how they've broken it down as far as who's getting first team reps, who's second team reps, third team reps. So there's might be some disparity there as far as the level of competition that he's competing against. So I think it's a healthy quarterback situation now with all the attention that not damn, I'm about to say Dion, all the attention that Shador gets. I think it's probably a little hard on Dylan Gabriel. I think he might want to get out of that situation. Not necessarily you want to compete, but what are you really battling against? Like I said, like I feel like Flacco or Pickett, they probably side with Flacco over Pickett, but one of them I feel like is going to get cut. They're going to keep uh, one of the young guns to compete for a starting job and probably eventually be starting. So I think it's a healthy quarterback situation. And plus they got 2 number ones next year. So if everything else fails, they can go right back into it. So we're going to see how that plays out. It's a lot of different reports coming out of these camps. Obviously, you have the Shador Sanders fans who he's doing great. This is why he should have been picked in the first round. And then you have other ones who, you know what I'm saying, potentially saying Gabriel is doing well. Pickett, I haven't really heard too much about him. And Flacco has a little few moments where he said he didn't want to be like he's caught up in there where like I don't want to be the guy that says, "Oh, I'm here to mentor," because that makes it seem like I'm not here to start. But then he also doesn't want to be the guy to say he's not here to mentor because then it makes you feel like an asshole and shit. So I think personally, as far as this battle goes, I feel like Flacco probably start, and I feel like Shador probably, you know what I'm saying, get some playing time. I don't know what happens to Dylan Gabriel. I think he probably get traded. And continuing on the path of quarterbacks, it was a lot of hoopla or whatever brought up about Stroud not throwing in OTAs. I mean, when you have that potential, of a team and the defense is on point and they added to that, and you had those offensive line woes last season and didn't meet expectations, and you see that the injuries kind of pile up, but he played through them. It's just kind of like, all right, cool. You didn't see too much of him in the off season, so it's just like, all right, cool. He locked in, he ready to play because he was all over the podcast last year during the off season. So he's locked in, ready to play, and then OTA start. You got your 2 new rookie wide receivers. You want to see him play with him, and he's not playing. So it's what's going on. Early on, they was trying to say that, hey, it's muscle soreness in the shoulder. That's going to create all types of concerns for fans. In that, as a fan of a team with your quarterback as a franchise quarterback, and they talking about shoulder soreness, you don't want to hear that shit. Especially with what I've seen from the Cams to the Ben Roethlisbergers and all those, like you don't want to hear that shit in OTAs. So it was just kind of like, well, damn, did he have off-season surgery? Did he not? D'Amico Ryans is like, it ain't nothing to worry about. Cool, but you said that shit about Christian Harris, and that nigga was up the whole fucking season, so we was a little bit worried. But mandatory camp, he comes back, he starts throwing, and Super Bowl. That's how I feel. They signed Nick Chubb. He's coming off of that devastating knee injury. He really wasn't doing too much last season when he came back, but hopefully with some time, who knows what you get from him. It was a 1-year deal. I don't think he's probably like $5 million. I mean, you got to throw it. You got to give the opportunity. Mixon gets hurt. So if you have Nick Chubb and Joe Mixon back there with a rookie, hey, what else? But they other offensive wide receiver, the 2 rookies that they took from Iowa State, Higgins looks, you know what I'm saying, as advertised. Now you got Nico, you got Higgins, 6'4". They making plays. Noel, he participated in the voluntary OTAs, but he hasn't participated in the mandatory because of injury. So that's a little worrisome. At this time, you just want your team to be healthy. You don't want no major fucking injury right now. So if he's injured, it's just kind of like, all right. So speaking of injuries, Christian McCaffrey, he's been a full participant in OTAs, voluntary OTAs, mandatory OTAs. So He's taking all the reps. So is he ready to go? Is he going to be the next? Is he ready to take the next step? So we're going to see about that. Hopefully he can bounce back. I know a lot of people lost out in fantasy picking him number one, and he just dealt with that injuries all year. But if he can come back and be strong and healthy, I think that 49ers team could do a little damage. Next up, we're going to go out to the New York Jets. There'll be an interesting team because of Aaron Glenn, new head coach, and just what happens with Justin Fields. Like, everything I've been seeing about them has been saying that it's a support system. Like, they really support him. They really believe in him. Aaron Glenn felt like one of his biggest challenges was dealing with a dual threat quarterback. So now he has one, and he wants his offense to be that. So it seems like he's working. He's doing really well leadership wise. The players love him. They love his dual threat abilities. He has a connection with Garrett Wilson because in college. But I think the one thing that comes with Fields is he needs to get rid of the ball and he needs better awareness in the pocket. He can't hold on to the ball. He needs to get it. He needs the quick game. He needs to get it up there and throw it. But like I said, just working on pocket operation and timing, it's a supportive environment for him to grow. So we'll see what happens there. Excuse me. Another quarterback injury, Anthony Richardson, who this was probably his make or break year on some real shit. At the end of the day, he's still dealing with another shoulder issue. He's not participating in mandatory OTA or mandatory camp. He's going for a second opinion on his shoulder. They brought in Daniel Jones to compete with him. And Daniel Jones has been kind of killing it in OTAs and mandatory camp. So you already know what's going to come with that. What they already saying. So I think he needs to get on the field. But if he can't have another full off season and injuries and the way he plays, he keeps on getting injured, he's not going to get the reps that he needs. So that's something to look out for. And maybe this is a rekindling moment for Daniel Jones to really reach his peak under that shaking system. Who knows? But I would like to see Anthony Richardson get healthy. But he got some competition. So, and he's not getting the reps, and that's the one thing he needs. He needs the reps. I think he could play. I think he needs to chill out on trying to run into people injury wise, trying to avoid those. But he's been doing well. Now, as we go over to the Bengals, Andrea, their third wide receiver, has really been killing it. I think he's going to be that third wide receiver that damn, I forgot what his name was. The slot that played in the slot. He's been heavily featured in the offense. They said he's making difficult catches look easy. He has the versatility in the slot. It's just for a simple fact of, like, you have a player that does so well in OTAs. It's just like we need that to translate into real game situation. And the Bengals in general has a lot going on because they still have the contract dispute with Trey Henderson. He's holding out. There's no progress on that. And then on top of that, one of the people that you probably drafted to pair with him or to replace him, depending on what you do with Trey Henderson or what you want to do with him, Shamar Stewart, he's not even signing his rookie deal because from what I've seen, the Bengals want to insert a new clause allowing voiding of future guarantees in case of a breach, drugs, whatever the situation that is. But Stewart, on the other hand, just wants a contract that's similar to Mims that they gave last year. So those are going back and forth. And I think as far as being a contender, you had the whole discourse with who you're going to pay between Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. You paid both of them. Now your best defensive player and the first-round defensive player, you got two more public disputes on contracts. What are you going to do? How do you handle that? I think with Trey, like, stop being cheap. If you want to compete, you're going to have to pay these players. That's all I can say. If you want to compete, you're going to have to play these players. And I don't understand the clause unless it's something in Stewart's background that they want to try to avoid happening. But if it does, they want to be off the hook for the money. So we can see about that and how that progresses. Next up, we got the rookie Cam Ward and Will Levis. Cam Ward hasn't just outright taken over that game, that battle. Well, they said Will Levis is putting up a good fight, as he should. I think that's kind of disrespectful to feel like one season. I mean, they didn't draft him, but one season you're the starter, but it's just like, yeah, since we have this pick, we're gonna go with, like, you know what I'm saying? We're going with Cam Ward. What you do is what you do. Maybe you can become a serviceable backup, or you play well enough and you become a trade option. They've been sharing reps. I think Cam at this point now in the offseason have been in the mandatory camp is getting more of the share reps, but it's been a battle, is what I'm hearing. It's been a battle. As going back to contract disputes, Commanders with Terry McLaurin. He's in a contract dispute. He's holding out. He's entering the final year of his contract, and he's getting paid slightly below the amount of Debo. So you can see where having a great year with first-year rookie Jaden Daniels and having a career year, and you're on your final year now, you want to get paid, you're reaching your 30s, you're in your 30s, you're turning 30, you want that contract because this is the last contract, the last big contract you're probably going to get. And they just brought in Debo, and clearly you probably feel that you're better than Debo, especially with the chemistry that you already have with Jaden Daniels. And who knows what Debo has left. But we can see how things are going to progress and how things are going to go on with them. But I feel like if you got Terry McLaurin, he's been through all that bullshit with that team, I think you need to pay the boy. I think you need to pay him. You probably better off just paying him. Just pay the man, give him what he wants, and bam. All right, now we're going to take a slight break as we give you some entertainment. Check this out.
Man, you know who I think is going to have a good second year? No sophomore slump. No, trust me. That boy Drake. Man, I know y'all ain't talking about no Drake, man. Drake, man. Aubrey Graham, y'all talking about Drake, man. That man, didn't he just get Ja Rule? That man, he just got Ja Rule. Don't nobody listen to Drake. I mean, everywhere I go, they still play his music. But, man, ain't nobody listening to Drake, man. I be on Twitter. Don't nobody listen to that nigga no more, yo. I'm telling you, man. I mean, yeah, he's the most streamed artist every month for the last past however many years and shit, but that don't mean shit. That's fake numbers, yo. They fake numbers, yo. It's bots, yo. He the one that was using the bots. Hey, man, it's Drake, yo. Ain't nobody talking about Drake. Ain't nobody worried about Drake, man. We already know who the best is, man. The GOAT, man. Nigga, what the fuck are you talking about? We talking about Drake May, the New England Patriots quarterback. Something's really wrong with that nigga. Something's really wrong with that nigga, man. Man, fuck all that. Y'all talking about second-year quarterbacks. At the end of the day, ain't nobody better than the MVP Lamar, yo. Yeah, Kendrick fucking Lamar. Yeah, MVP, most valuable person of all time. Yo, he's the GOAT, yo. Greatest of all time, yo. We just witnessed that shit, yo. He the hottest out. Yo, his mental intellect, yo, is so fucking deep. It blows motherfuckers' minds. Yo, these niggas is not getting that shit, yo. They not getting it, yo. These niggas, it's too complex, yo. They too simple out here. 1 + 1 is 2. He's on some other shit. He's like 1 + 5 is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever the fuck that shit is, yo. And when he said mustard, you know what he's talking about? He talking about mustard and the blue crabs, which is the shit, right? That's what niggas in that barrel, the crab barrel trying to pull you down, that's the shit he talking about, yo. He putting us on some new shit, yo. Different shit, yo. He changing this whole shit, yo. He the culture, yo. All that other shit, yeah. Kendrick Lamar, MVP. Cole, you stupid. You stupid as shit. I mean, we already know Drake better than Kendrick, so I don't even really see what the argument is. But did you see the boy Stroud throwing today? Super Bowl.
That was a little break that we took, so we back at it. The Broncos signed J.K. Dobbins. With him and R.J. Harvey, I think that's a good backfield. That's a good run game. Fantasy wise, I'm not sure. I know J.K. Dobbins had around like 900 yards rushing last year, so I think the Broncos should be a better team overall with Pat Bryant, with that run game, second year in the system with Bo Nix. I'm expecting that team to be a lot better. And they saying Hufunga at the safety is really controlling the communication on their defense. So the defense might be a little bit more better to really compete in that division with the Chiefs and the Chargers. Speaking of that division, NFC or AFC West, new team Raiders with Geno Smith. Pete Carroll is the head coach. They have a good stable of skill players with Jacoby Myers, Brock Bowers, Mike Myers, and Ashton Genty, rookie running back. And they said Geno's been looking sharp. He's been shining with the leadership, really taking. I mean, he's a vet, right? So he's going to really take that in control. He's been spreading the ball around. All the skill set players have been raving about him. Even though he's running the Chip Kelly offense, there's a little hiccups here and there, but it's high expectations for that team. It's high expectations for that team. I think within the building is high expectations. Outside the building, can they compete in that division? I think they are. I think they are the best equipped they have been to compete in that division. I think the Broncos got better. I think the Chargers has gotten better. I think the Chiefs has kind of leveled out. I think the Raiders can sneak a win here or there. Are they a playoff team? Unless injuries really sideline two of those teams in the division, I don't really see it. And then speaking of an older vet quarterback, the Kirk Cousins situation. He didn't show up for the voluntary OTAs, but he showed up for mandatory camp. And I think that's more so because he really doesn't have an option right now. He does have a no trade clause in his contract, so he determines where he wants to go, but it's no opening. There's really no opening on any team. I think the last team probably would have been the Steelers, but they went with Aaron Rodgers. You can't say the Browns because they have a quarterback battle. So Kirk Cousins is probably just waiting for an injury to happen to take over for a team, or just going to play the backup role. I mean, you lost your job with poor performance, so that's where you're at now. And speaking of a player who probably will get traded, is Jalen Ramsey. Like you say, he's speaking to trade partner, so he really haven't been at camp. But the one nugget of his contract is more have to do with the money. So you probably won't see anything happen with him until after July 1st, because the cap hit will be from $25 million down to $7 million if he gets traded. So they're probably waiting for that to happen. He's a vet, so you don't really need him in camp for anything. And the two teams that are trade partners are the Rams, going back to the Rams, or the Cowboys, but more than likely it probably is the Rams. So that's a little rundown of OTAs that I've been keeping up with. If anything off the top of my head, I can think they've been saying a few. Tyler Shuck with the Saints has shown a live arm. Quinshawn Judkins has been looking pretty well. The rookie for the Patriots, the other wide receiver, Chisholm. I think it's Chisholm. He's been looking smooth. It's the OTAs, it's mandatory camp. This is the feeling is building for your team. Everybody is 0-0. Everybody has Super Bowl hopes, and then reality is going to hit when training camp start and injuries start to pile up, and you really get to see how these rookies are going to play and how your vets are going to play. Personally, I'm looking forward to it. I want to enjoy the summer, but I'm looking forward to football coming up. Probably go to a few games. So, yeah, it's been a minute from my last episode, which was, if you go back and check, it was about the 10 bubbling wide receivers that's going to be next up. The Drake Londons, the Zay Flowers, the Xavier Worthies, the Marvin Harrison Jr. So, if you get an opportunity, go check out those videos. Like I said, I'm on YouTube. Subscribe to Trance Bates. Need subscribers. I'm on X at OTHW Trance Bates. I'm on TikTok, which is also OTHW Trance Bates. YouTube, I have some shorts, like one of the skits, like the skit I just did when talking to a Kendrick fan about football. But hey, just rock. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all who rock with me. I appreciate the people that watch the videos, the comments. If you have any comments, be sure to post those. Be sure to subscribe. I probably have a reaction video for the PFF's quarterbacks coming up and the PFF ranking for wide receivers coming up. I also want to dig into a little bit of what to expect from the college quarterbacks and wide receivers coming up this year. And I'm still putting together what next episode will be coming up with or thinking about. But also check out the shorts that I have. A lot of skits. Some of them they're all football related. I think it's funny. But like I said, thanks for rocking out with me. Thanks for checking out. Like I said, I'm on YouTube at Trance Bates. I'm on X, OTH with Trance Bates. It's scrolling at the bottom. You can see it. Also TikTok. And thanks for checking me out. Share the video. And I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
Hey Trent, do you have an opinion? Yeah, I do. When the fucking Texans play?